If you're looking for an honest, raw memoir about forgiveness and healing, then I would highly recommend reading a book that I just finished up. The Prescription is in the Dirt by author Fatima Oliver. This book covers 12 chapters, each focused around a story where Fatima deals with some difficulties in life, but then ultimately finds a silver lining and teaches us a lesson. And so I learned a lot of amazing things in this book. One of my biggest takeaways was that in religion, she talks a lot about her religious experiences. In religion, you can either serve a religion or you can serve a relationship. And her godfather gave her great advice to serve that relationship that you have with God and the other people around you. And there's a lot of religious undertone, like I said. At the end of each chapter, you read a little psalm or quote from the Bible, and she talks a lot about her interaction with religion, which I found refreshing as a Christian, as a Catholic, who doesn't attend church every Sunday anymore, but definitely has a relationship with God. So she's very open and vulnerable about that relationship, and it added a lot of perspective to my life to read about it that way. Now, there's a story in the book that I wanted to touch on that I thought was really important. Fatima has multiple miscarriages, and she's very open about that. She then actually gives birth to her baby daughter, who ends up passing away just a few hours after she's born. And by the time her first son is born, she thinks it's a miracle. And it really is a miracle. Her son is still born premature, and there are some health complications. But there's a beautiful point in her memoir where she describes her husband kind of raising up her new baby boy like Simba in The Lion King for all to see. And she says that her husband does nothing kind of like halfway. She really goes full into it. And that was kind of like the beautiful side of that story. So again, she's very open and vulnerable about these stories. And that's what I think was special about this book. Fatima ends up being the mother of 4 boys. And I can identify, I have 3 brothers. And so when she talks about the struggle of raising 4 boys, I can only look at my mom and be thankful that she was able to do it, because we were kind of a crazy bunch. Now, if you want to get a good understanding of her writing style, I'd like to read something out of chapter 6. It's one of my favorite quotes from the entire book, and this will give you a sense as to her writing style to see if it's going to be a good match for the books that you like to read. So check this out. She says, quote, "I was raised to be strong enough to carry my family on my back and the world on my shoulders. I have learned that this type of strength is a blessing and a curse. On one end, my family makes me unstoppable. I get over hurdles, no matter what they are. My ambition overtakes my fear every time. The downside is that I do not instinctively stop to feel the emotions linked to what I am experiencing in the moment. I just move on to the next thing and then the next." And that was, I think that what happens when you write a memoir like Fatima did is you get into a reflective state and you're able to articulate things that other people feel and have a tough time articulating. And then as a reader, when you read those, it gives you guidance. It gives you the ability to not only think about them clearly, but articulate them clearly. And so these are certain things that I've experienced in my life or things that I've felt at certain points in time. And I enjoyed reading about them. So like I said in the very beginning, this book is about forgiveness. It's about removing sort of the negative things from your life and finding an opportunity to live and experience joy and hope. And that's exactly what I was able to find inside of this book. The Prescription is in the Dirt. Fatima Oliver, great job writing the book. If you're into memoirs, this is a great perspective style memoir. I always like to look at difficult times in my life and think about the lives of people like Fatima and how they were able to persevere and overcome the challenges that they were facing, which are inherently much more difficult than the ones that I currently am worrying about, as an example. And so it gives me strength to read about things like this. I hope you give this book a chance. It's a pretty short read. It's only about 100 pages, 12 chapters. It moves pretty fast because each story is from a different part of her life, and they're all very interesting. I had a good time reading the book. So comment down below if you have any feedback for me or if you've read it. Otherwise, go read something, have an amazing day, and I hope you enjoyed today's review. Bye.